Hi, I wanted to give you some tips for homeschooling to make your life easier. The first thing to do is know that if you're overwhelmed, if you're anxious, if this is a new thing for you, that's okay. These tips are meant to make your homeschooling process more successful, smoother, and clearer. My first tip, if you're new to homeschooling, is to be gentle with yourself. Don't try to do too much in one day. Create a schedule. Just like you would have a schedule for your day at work, where you might have a 9 a.m. event in green, 10 a.m. event in purple, a 12 noon conference call, and you know what you need to do starting right at 9 a.m. for the rest of your day, you'll want to create the same type of visual calendar for your children. This will give them a sense of consistency, and it will also mirror what their day at school is like. So every single day that you're homeschooling, you'll have lunch at the same time, you'll have science at the same time, every day for that routine. Also, it's really important to take breaks. Just like your children would have recess, you want to schedule in little breaks, maybe to have a snack, get some pretzels, go outside, throw the frisbee around together as a family, or put a children's yoga video on YouTube, like Cosmic Kids Yoga. That's a fun one. And make sure to incorporate breaks. These are important for yourself so you don't get burnt out or exhausted as a parent. And this will be very helpful for your children and their success as well as their attention span. If you have young children, breaks are best every 45 minutes. So I would say middle school and younger, breaks every 45 minutes. And then if you have teenagers or high schoolers, breaks every hour or 75 minutes are fine. And 15 minutes to half an hour breaks are great. My second tip is to use the kitchen for math. Montessori schools are known for hands-on learning, and Maria Montessori was a trailblazer in terms of understanding the way that children learn best, and that's through touching, sensory experiences, and this interactive component. So make some brownies, teach your children how to scramble eggs, or if you're vegan or vegetarian, help them make some, walnut and tempeh vegan burgers. Allow your children to use math in the kitchen by measuring, doubling recipes, incorporating fractions, and overall just trying new foods. So this is also a great time to introduce your child to ravioli or whole wheat pasta or mung bean pasta. And through this, you'll also help your child develop a healthy, hands-on relationship with food. So cutting up a kiwi or cutting up a cantaloupe can be an amazing experience for your child. They can overcome fears, they can understand textures and tastes and start to create more variety in their palate in their food. So using your kitchen can be a wonderful way to incorporate math for hands-on learning. Tip number 3. You can create a fun activity for your child by asking them to make a soundproof box. A soundproof box is essentially an activity where you give your child a shoebox, and then you say within this house, you can use materials in this house, and maybe you have 2 or 3 or however many children, and you or one, and you just say, I'm going to put my cell phone in this box, and I want you to be able to create a soundproof box. So maybe you put paper in there. Maybe you put in rocks. Maybe you put in a towel. Maybe you figure out, they have to create this hypothesis to figure out, does paper muffle sound? Or does a pillowcase muffle sound? Or does a twig muffle sound. So your children will have to get creative. They have to use a shoebox, so it can't be any bigger than that. And they'll have to create this little science experiment of how does sound get muffled, and to think about, an acoustic guitar room or an orchestra practicing room. And what does that look like? And how can we make this box look like that? And what tools and things do we have laying around the house that we can use? So it's a really fun creative project, and it's called Making a Soundproof Box, incorporating science, incorporating kind of this engineering brain, this inventor type of project. So last but not least is doing a nature scavenger hunt. So a nature scavenger hunt incorporates walking outside, getting fresh air, soaking up the sunshine on your skin, and can be done even if it's slightly cloudy or overcast. On this scavenger hunt, you'll want to type up or handwrite a piece of paper for your children to find these items, and you may be surprised what they come back with. So 1 stick, 1 gray rock, 1 red rock, 1 potato or pill bug, 1 spider web, 3 different types of leaves, something you didn't expect, 3 colors and different types of birds, and green moss. So as your children go outside, they'll check these things off the list and then come back in 5 or 10 minutes and you can talk about what they found, where that leaf came from. Do you think it came from a tree in our yard here? Or do you think an animal carried that leaf here? You know, and talking about that beginning of life, and, you know, seeds need darkness to grow, and just like we need to take naps and slow down sometimes, and, you know, we also need that sunshine when we feel strong and capable. And when was a time that you felt strong recently? You can use these different activities to create social emotional learning, and different activities to bring about empathetic thinking as well. If you're looking for more tips, I would be happy to share, but just to conclude, the first tip was to be gentle with yourself. Just know that this is a new process and it doesn't have to be perfect. The most important thing is that you're laughing and bonding and building meaningful connections with your children. In summary, tip number 2 is to use your kitchen to make brownies or scrambled eggs and help your children learn about math with hands-on learning in the kitchen. Summary of tip 3 is to create a soundproof box. Ask your child to find materials around your house to silence or mute the sound of a ringing cell phone when put in the box. A summary of tip number 4, do a nature scavenger hunt. Get outside, get some fresh air, and have your child or children search for cool nature things throughout your yard. I hope you enjoyed these homeschooling tips for parents. Have a wonderful day.